Almost 3 years and plenty of instrument videos later, I thought it'd be a good idea to go back and revisit our top 5 list of the weirdest instruments we've tried on the channel. For 2 reasons. 1, I like me a clickbait title, and it works surprisingly well, so let's go ahead and do that again. And second, I had no ideas for this week. It's still hard to believe that original video came out in 2019. And still, I have the same haircut. What am I doing with my life? Nothing gives you an existential crisis like looking back on yourself and thinking, wow, nothing has changed. Now, to mix things up, I haven't chosen any instruments that were in the original video, which means no otamatones. And I apologize. I know how much you guys love otamatones. But they are all instruments that were featured in previous videos, so it's going to be a bit of a reunion for me, because a lot of these things have been sitting in my cupboard for years, just gathering dust and not doing much. It's going to be like brushing off the old high school yearbook, finding my old friends, giving them a call, seeing how they are, putting down the phone, and never talking to them again. Oh, I'm lonely. Funnily enough, just like the last list video we did, it's also bloody hot here in the UK. So I'm going to be sweating my balls off making this video. This little egg-like instrument right here is the KORG CLIPHIT, and it's an electric drum which basically allows you to take these clips, attach them to anything, and turn whatever you clip these things to into a drum. It's weird, it's kind of pointless, but it is fun. And I haven't used this in a long time, so I'm looking forward to trying it out again. So it comes with 3 individual clips, one to control the crash, one to control the ride, and one to control the snare. And it also comes with a pedal which can either control the hi-hat or the bass drum, and you can use the dial on the side to select different samples. It's very simple, very straightforward. It doesn't do a hell of a lot. It's not MIDI or anything like that. So there's really not that much room for experimentation with this thing. You get what you're given, and that's it. Listen to that juicy bass. Terrible. It doesn't not work, which is more than I expected. Don't worry guys, there's more where that came from. Let's try and make John Cena sound a little bit more evil. Now, of course, you don't have to attach this thing to John Cena, but I thought it would just be a good example. I think last time I attached this thing to peanut butter pots and all that kind of stuff to make a sort of poor man's drum kit, and it worked pretty good. Strap it to your hand, strap it to your bed, strap it to your dog. Actually, don't strap it to your dog. But apart from that, literally anything else. And it's also battery powered, so you can take it anywhere. Strap it to the side of a volcano. The world's your oyster. Next up, we've got another percussion instrument, and it is the Vibraslap. Now, if you've already seen our video on this or you know anything about the Vibraslap, you know it's a very basic instrument. It doesn't really do a whole lot. You hit the ball, it rattles the teeth, and that's it. Pretty basic. Sound-wise, the Vibraslap isn't particularly weird. It does look a bit odd, but the origins are the weirdest thing about it, because it was made to replicate the sound of hitting a dried out animal jaw, which was mostly used in South America, but now you can find the Vibraslap pretty much anywhere. It's used in so many songs and you probably just don't realize. But yeah, suffice to say, if this instrument turns up in a song, it's used quite sparingly. But of course, there are always ways to spice up a boring sounding instrument. Basically, if you have a contact mic, you can make any boring old instrument sound arguably way better. Obviously, that's down to personal taste. Now, this next one I felt like I had to include in this video because the name of it just lends itself so well to the theme of the video. It is, of course, thought that was gonna happen. It is, of course, the Oddball, which is basically a tiny MIDI controller placed inside a bouncy ball. And it works surprisingly well. And the best thing about it is that you can just throw it around. You can hit it up against walls, you can throw it down a mountain probably and it'll still be alright, all while making sweet, sweet music. Now, to play the Oddball, you do have a few choices. You can either use a DAW software like GarageBand or Ableton, or you can use the Oddball app, which you can use to make very basic loops. It's velocity sensitive, so you can tap it and you get a lighter sound out of it, or you can absolutely demolish it, and it will make a harder sound. And that's basically everything you can do with the Oddball app. You can use the pre-built samples and make very basic loops, and that's it. But because we want to do more stuff, let's use GarageBand. Ow, my hands. The gimmick of throwing around a ball is fun and all, but my gosh, does it hurt your hands after a while. It's painful and numb at the same time. It's a weird sensation. How's this taken so long to film? It's been so long. It's been like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. I don't know anymore. Let's just get this video over and done with. Instrument number 4, you know, it's gotta be the electric kazoo. He says like he didn't just grab this one out of the wardrobe and thought, that will do. Now, if you ask me, regular old kazoos are quite a weird instrument. The first time I ever saw them was on American cartoons when I was younger, like Recess and stuff like that. And I always thought, what the hell are those? Because we don't really have them over here in the UK. And in fact, this kazoo right here was the first one that I'd ever tried. And it's a very basic design. It's basically just your regular old kazoo with a microphone strapped to the top, and that's literally it. So if you really wanted to, you can just take the microphone off and but of course, just playing the kazoo on its own isn't going to make it into this list, so we have to make it weirder. And that's where the microphone comes in. Straight off the bat, let's run this through an amp. I remember why I don't play wind instruments anymore. My lungs just can't take it. Now I will pay respects to the country that made this blessed kazoo by playing their national anthem very badly. And we're finally down to the number 1 weirdest instrument which I own. And a lot of you probably saw it coming. The cat piano. Because really, what else could it be? Is it the eating grin? Is it the fact that it has electronics sticking out the top of its head? Who's to say? Now, we only recently did a video on this thing, and if you saw that video, you know that I modified it to add an audio out so we can mess with the sound. But even without that modification, it still has its own weird quirks to it. But of course now it can make a much more monstrous noise. Sounds like you're saying why. That's creepy. That's meant to be a banjo, but it doesn't sound like a banjo anymore. It sounds like a spooky shamisen or something. Or maybe it's just a spooky banjo, I don't know. Okay, it turns out the didgeridoo makes for a very good percussion instrument, but I wonder how it sounds if you blow in it. It is way too dank. Well, I think that'll do for today. Even I'll admit, that got a bit out of hand. And that sums up our 2022 update for the top 5 weird instruments that we own and have tried out. And of course, there are way more weird instruments that we still have yet to try. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave them down below in the comments or our Discord or Twitter, whatever really suits you. And also let us know out of the 5 instruments that we showed off today, which one was your favorite? You know, this one's my top pick, but not everybody has the same taste. So it'll be interesting to see what you think. And with that, I think that's going to be it for another edition of Looted. Once again, shout out to the executive producers over here on the Patreon. Thank you very much for your support. And if you like this video, hit like. If you like all our videos, hit subscribe. We've got more videos on the way. You can join me on Twitter, join us on the Discord. And like always, I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that will be. But until then, have a good one.